The sun dipped low in the Texas sky, casting long shadows over the last stop diner, a small refuge from the sprawling emptiness beyond. Inside, Pastor Daniel Herrera sat hunched over a mug of coffee that had grown cold. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, illuminating the weariness etched on his face. Around him, the clamor of conversations and laughter echoed, but Daniel felt suspended in an overwhelming silence that pressed heavily on his chest. His thoughts drifted back to the recent sermon he had delivered about faith being an anchor in the storm. The irony weighed on him like a stone. He felt adrift, lost at sea, his own faith faltering amid the chaos. What kind of shepherd was he when he could no longer find his own way? The faces of the congregation, once sources of comfort and connection, had blurred into a collage of disappointment and misunderstanding, as if they could sense the doubts consuming him. A table of teenagers laughed raucously, while a couple in the corner argued over their breakfast order. Their lives moved with ease, while he remained an island of solitude, marooned in despair. The sharp smell of bacon hung in the air, a cruel reminder of the warmth and community he once felt. Then, in a sudden jolt, the diner's door swung open. A man stumbled in, his face pale, clearly struggling. Daniel observed as the stranger clutched his chest and fell to the floor, a ripple of gasps escaping the patrons. Time seemed to freeze. He couldn't help but feel an instinctive urge to help rise within him. Yet, doubt gnawed at him, trapping him in place. "You can't do this," a voice whispered in his mind. "Who are you to offer hope?" Taking a shaky breath, Dan gathered his resolve and moved toward the man. He knelt down, his heart racing, unsure whether he was acting on compassion or desperation. "Sir, can you hear me?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. The man looked at him, confusion in his eyes, and then slumped further to the ground. "God help him," Daniel prayed, feeling the words scrape against the raw edges of his soul. "What right do I have to beseech anything?" Yet he uttered them, hoping the connection would bridge the chasm he felt within. He yearned to reach out, to find a flicker of faith in the darkness. Suddenly the man stirred, managing a shallow breath and pushing himself up. But before Daniel could offer further comfort, the stranger shot up and staggered toward the door, blinking through his bewilderment. Without a word, he vanished into the fading light. Daniel's heart sank. He returned to his booth, shoulders heavy as the chatter regained momentum around him. Was this his life now, losing the chance to connect? The diner buzzed with life, but he felt more distant than ever. The dregs of cold coffee lingered on his tongue, bitter and uninviting. He stared out the window, grappling with the void that consumed him. The day slipped away, leaving behind only shadows and uncertainty. Could he ever reclaim the faith that felt so far from his grasp? As silence settled back in, Daniel pondered, was hope truly lost? Daniel sat in the diner, staring at the swirling patterns in his cold coffee. The clatter of dishes and the chatter of patrons faded into a dull echo as the memories he long avoided surged like tidal waves. Each recollection painted a poignant picture of a life filled with laughter and warmth, now overshadowed by silence and regret. He reminisced about his early days as a pastor, in the same church where he had once felt a profound sense of purpose. The sun streamed through the stained glass, casting vibrant colors onto the pews. In those moments, filled with zeal and conviction, he believed faith could solve every problem, that it was an unbreakable bond uniting him and his community. One memory unfolded, revealing a bright summer day. His wife, Maria, stood beside him in their backyard, laughing as their daughter Emma spun in circles, her floral dress twirling like a blooming flower. Lucas, their son, tried poorly to imitate her, causing Daniel to chuckle. Those moments, filled with innocent joy and connection, felt like a lifetime away now. But shadows emerged when Reverend James, his mentor, succumbed to a sudden illness. The loss hit Daniel hard, striking a blow to his unwavering faith. How could God allow this, he thought, anger mixing with his sorrow. The man who had guided him through storms was gone, leaving a void that echoed like a distant thunder. In the days that followed, Daniel felt darkness seep into his home. Maria tried to connect, her voice soft and empathetic, urging him to talk about his feelings. "You need to let this out, Daniel," she'd remind him. Yet, he found solace in silence, retreating deeper into isolation as the world continued spinning around him. Their last Sunday together haunted him. Maria sat beside him in church, her hand resting on his knee, but the distance between them felt insurmountable. After the service, she asked, "Why preach hope when you don't believe in it?" Those words cut deep, tearing through the thin fabric of denial he had wrapped around himself. In the days that followed, he watched from the sidelines as his children grew, their milestones becoming distant memories. The day Emma graduated was particularly hard. He sat in the back of the church, a ghost among the joyful crowd. Guilt took root in his heart as he realized he was letting them down, a pastor isolated from his own family. As time dragged on, Daniel finally lost Maria, and with her he lost the last thread connecting him to the warmth of love and belonging. "I can't stay with someone who's lost his way," she said gently, leaving with the kids. Each word was like a thunderclap, shattering whatever was left of his spirit. Alone now, he wandered through the dark spaces of life, a lost soul yearning for a home that no longer existed. Returning to the present, Daniel felt the weight of his memories suffocating him. The world outside thrummed with life, but he was trapped in a loop of regret and sorrow. He glanced out the window, witnessing a fleeting sunset, the vibrant colors a stark reminder of light he could barely remember. Suddenly, a waitress placed a warm plate of food in front of him, grounding him in the present. "You okay, Pastor?" Lila Sanchez asked, her eyes searching his face for the truth behind his silence. "Just thinking," he managed to reply, the weight of his memories still pressing heavily on his chest. She leaned in slightly, her voice warm and inviting. "You know, you aren't alone. Sometimes sharing your burdens can lighten the load." There was a sincerity in her gaze that disarmed him, a gentle nudge towards connection he had shunned for far too long. Daniel hesitated, glancing at the food slowly cooling on his plate. "Out here, it feels like no one could understand this emptiness," he confessed quietly, wary of exposing his scars. Lila nodded, an understanding flicker dancing in her features. "Life's a challenge for everyone in some way. Music helps me cope." She shared her own vulnerability as she sipped her coffee. "You'd be surprised how cathartic it can be, to share not just joy but pain through a song." The mention of music stirred something in him, a long-buried melody that had once resonated deeply. He recalled the family gatherings, laughter, and the music that wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. "I haven't picked up my guitar in so long," he admitted, a hint of longing creeping into his voice. "Maybe it's time to bring it back," Lila suggested, her encouragement simple yet profound. "You could join me at the community center next week. We have an open mic night." Her suggestion hung in the air, a whisper of possibility. Inside, Daniel battled apprehension, but something within him flickered. Who was he kidding? He had strayed so far from himself, but perhaps, just perhaps, there was a chance for rediscovery. "Okay," Daniel replied, a tentative smile breaking through the walls he'd built. "I'd like that." The simple exchange felt monumental, a small step toward reclaiming his life as the darkness around him began to lift. Hope ignited within him, a delicate spark, but one that hinted at something more profound, waiting to be explored. As he finished his meal, a newfound determination began to shape his thoughts. Perhaps it was time to confront the past, to weave together the frayed threads of his life into something beautiful once again, and in the process, perhaps begin to mend his own heart. The wind rustled through the trees as Daniel parked outside the community center. Unfamiliar jitters danced in his stomach, a mixture of excitement and fear. As he stepped out of the car, the distant sound of laughter and music drifted through the open doors, beckoning him in. The facade of the center, painted in cheerful hues, contrasted sharply with how he felt inside. Could he truly do this? The thought echoed in his mind, a specter of doubt trailing behind him as he entered. Inside, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. People of all ages mingled, their voices rising and falling like a gentle tide. The stage stood invitingly at the front, bathed in soft light. Daniel felt a tug at his heart, a yearning to belong, to be part of the rhythm of life once again. "Hey, you made it!" Lila greeted him warmly, her smile radiating a kind of warmth that eased some of his anxiety. She wore a floral dress that danced with her movements, embodying the very essence of joy. "Yeah, I figured it was time," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "Good, let's get you signed up." She led him toward the sign-up sheet, a small but crucial step into the world he once inhabited. As he wrote his name, a flood of memories washed over him. Past performances, the thrill of being on stage with his family, and the joy that accompanied it all. Soon, It was time for the open mic to begin. A nervous first performer took the stage, strumming a guitar and singing a heartfelt tune. The audience listened with rapt attention, and Daniel felt the music ripple through him, igniting the forgotten chords of his own spirit. As different musicians shared their stories, each song felt like a thread weaving into the tapestry of a shared experience. Joy, pain, hope, and loss. Daniel realized he was not alone. In this room, hearts beat in unison, resonating with the complexities of life. Finally, his name echoed through the speakers, and the room quieted. Standing backstage, his heart thudded in his chest. He could feel the weight of all eyes on him, the whispers of doubt clawing at his resolve. What if I fail? What if I can't do this? Lila's voice broke through his chaos. Just be you, Daniel. Share your heart. You've got this. Her encouragement was like a lifeline, and he took a deep breath, stepping into the light. As he approached the microphone, the warmth of the stage lights enveloped him. The audience smiled, eager and welcoming. He lifted his guitar, fingers trembling against its familiar wood. It felt almost like a reunion. He strummed a few chords softly, grounding himself in the music that once flowed effortlessly through him. "Hi, I'm Daniel," he began, his voice slightly shaky, but growing stronger with each word. "It's been a while, but I'm here to share something I wrote not too long ago." He paused, recalling the weight of his loneliness, the struggles buried inside. "This song is about finding a way back." With that, he began to play, pouring all his suppressed emotions into the melody. Each note resonated with vulnerability, capturing the pain of loss, the bittersweet sting of memories, and a hope that flickered like a candle in the wind. As he sang, the room transformed. It felt as if he and the audience shared a collective heartbeat. Familiar faces blurred into a beautiful array of acceptance as he bartered pieces of his soul for the warmth of connection. When he finished, silence hung for a moment, and then spontaneous applause erupted, warm and genuine. Daniel felt the rush of relief wash over him, as if a monumental weight had been lifted. He had faced his fears, and in doing so, discovered a part of himself he thought was lost forever. After the performance, Lila rushed up, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That was incredible. You moved everyone in there." She beamed, pride spilling from her every word. "Thank you," he replied, a smile creeping across his face. "I didn't think I could still do it." "You absolutely can," she affirmed. "This is just the beginning. You found your voice again." Encouraged by her words, he immersed himself in the lively atmosphere of the community center, joining conversations and laughing with others who shared their stories. Moments he thought were impossible filled the void he had wrestled with for far too long. Later, as the night began to wind down, Daniel stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. The cool night enveloped him like a comforting embrace. Stars twinkled overhead, and for the first time in years, he felt hope rising within him, an awakening of the spirit that had long been dormant. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past ease just a bit. Instead of being consumed by loneliness, he felt a connection to the world, to others who battled their own storms. As he drove home, the hum of the tires on the road became a soothing backdrop, and he realized that while the journey ahead was uncertain, he was no longer walking it alone. Every chord he played, every word he shared, stitched together the fragments of his life. Hope ignited something profound within him, the first flickers of faith returning, ready to light his way forward. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the curtains, bathing Daniel's bedroom in a warm glow. The light felt different today, softer, gentler, as if coaxing him to embrace this new chapter. He propped himself up on the bed, memories of the previous night swirling joyfully in his mind. Lila's smiles, the applause, the music, it all played back like a favorite song he couldn't stop replaying. With a rising surge of determination, Daniel reached for his guitar, the instrument long neglected now calling to him like an old friend. Dust danced in the beams of sunlight as he opened the case. The scent of aged wood filled the room, familiar and comforting. He lifted the guitar, letting it rest on his knees. His fingers hovered over the strings, trembling slightly with anticipation. "Let's see if you still remember me," he muttered, strumming a few gentle chords. The sound was rough but alive. Each note echoed through the silence of the house, filling the air with possibility. The melodies poured forth as he played, blending the memories of laughter, love, and heartache that had followed him like ghosts. As the day unfolded, Daniel found himself stepping outside more than he had in weeks. He walked through the neighborhood, the streets bathed in bright sunlight, filled with the sounds of children playing and distant laughter. Each new experience felt electric, as if life was infusing color back into the world that had faded for him. He found himself strolling to a little park near his home. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, dappling the ground in patterns of gold. He sat on a weathered bench, pulling out his notebook, the pages beginning to fill with song lyrics that captured the essence of his rebirth. Each line carried the weight of his past, the pain and guidance woven into the fabric of his story. In those moments, he lost track of time, the outside world fading into a backdrop to his creativity. His heart poured forth the stories he had suppressed for so long, stories of love, loss, and healing. As dusk approached, a familiar voice broke through his concentration. "Daniel," Lila called, walking toward him, her arms filled with takeout boxes and a wide grin. "I thought you could use some dinner, and I wanted to see how the songwriting was going." Daniel's heart swelled with gratitude at her thoughtfulness. "You read my mind," he replied, motioning for her to join him on the bench. "Sometimes it helps to nourish the body while feeding the soul," she said with a bright smile, placing the containers between them. They shared a simple meal, laughter echoing above the rustling leaves, their connection deepening with every shared story. "Have you written anything new?" Lila asked, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. With excitement bubbling inside him, Daniel shared snippets from the pages of his notebook, the verses that poured out from the depths of his heart. "It feels good to let it out," he confessed. "It's like a part of me that had been asleep is waking up." Lila's face lit up. "That's amazing. You're rediscovering the roots of who you are." Encouraged by her enthusiasm, Daniel made a decision. "What if we performed together? We could make a night of it. Bring your friends and my old ones. It doesn't have to be big, just a way to share our journeys." Lila considered his idea for a moment, before her eyes sparkled with joy. Yes, a celebration of rebirth and new beginnings. As the plans began to form, a sense of purpose enveloped Daniel, igniting a fire within him. The thought of sharing his story with others provided a warmth he hadn't felt in years. Over the next weeks, their sporadic jam sessions turned into a ritual, laughter and music filling the air as they navigated through each song. Friends began to gather, drawn by the promise of music and connection. Gradually, the revival that had sparked in Daniel began to blossom, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. The day of their small performance arrived, a gentle. Even the air felt charged with anticipation. The small community center, lit with twinkling string lights, welcomed friends and new faces. The room pulsed with energy as laughter and conversation intertwined with the melodies floating around. Daniel stood backstage, his heart drumming in his chest. Lila turned to him, her expression a mix of excitement and encouragement. "Remember, just let it flow. You're not alone up there." As they stepped onto the stage, a wave of warmth swept over him. Their friends cheered, faces glowing with anticipation and support. Daniel felt the echo of appreciation wash over him, grounding him in a moment of connection. Together, they shared the songs he had written, each chord resonating with the truths he had fought to reclaim. Lila harmonized beautifully, her lyrics intertwining effortlessly with his. They revealed their journeys through melodies that spoke of love, struggle, and rediscovery. With every note, Daniel felt chains of fear and doubt fall away. He watched the reactions of the audience, seeing their heads bob in rhythm, their smiles shining brightly in the dim light. He didn't just play, he connected, weaving the threads of their collective humanity together through the music. As the last notes lingered in the air, the applause erupted, cascading over him like a warm blanket. Daniel stood illuminated by the spotlight, feeling the weight of hope enveloping him. This was his rebirth, not just as a musician, but as a man who had reclaimed his voice, who had learned that vulnerability is a strength. After the last performance, friends surrounded him, clapping him on the back and offering kind words that felt like elixirs for his soul. Just as Daniel began to breathe in the love surrounding him, Lila approached, her eyes alight with joy. "You did it. You conquered the stage. You helped me get here," he said earnestly, gratitude pouring from his heart. "Now, let's keep going. This is just the start," she smiled, and together they stepped into the future, arms entwined in shared dreams. As he left the stage that night, A profound sense of belonging settled within him. This was only the beginning of a new journey that promised songs yet to be sung, laughter yet to be shared. Daniel stepped forward, ready to embrace every moment, each note a reminder of the healing that comes through connection, love, and music. As the weeks passed after that transformative night, Daniel continued to immerse himself in music, a tide of creativity washing over him. Collaborating with Lila and their growing circle of friends became a routine, each session breathing freshness into his soul. Their songs articulated the struggle of recovery, peeling back layers of their lives to expose the beauty hidden within the bruises. Yet even amidst this joyful renaissance, shadows lingered. One stormy evening, as rain pattered against the window and flashes of lightning illuminated his living room, a heavy weight settled in Daniel's chest. Distractions distracted him from the unfinished conversations lingering in the corners of his mind, the scars of his past that, despite progress, still demanded attention. Sitting on the couch with guitar in hand, he strummed absent-mindedly, struggling to channel his tumultuous thoughts into music. The notes felt harsh, discordant. He closed his eyes, hoping for an epiphany, but anxiety gnawed at him, wrapping around his thoughts tightly. The weight of his unresolved feelings began to seep through the cracks. Had he truly healed? How could he claim to know love again when shadows of doubt still flickered in his mind? Had he fully let go of the fear that had once consumed him? Maybe I should just place the guitar down for a bit, he muttered to himself. Yet deep down, he knew that retreating was not the answer. Moments later, the doorbell rang, startling him from the spiral of self-doubt. He cautiously approached the door, half expecting to find a friend or a neighbor inquiring about the storm. When he opened it, a pair of familiar eyes met his. Emma and Lucas stood soaked from the rain, their faces bright with youthful exuberance. "Surprise!" they chorused, their laughter slicing through his gloom. "Hey, what are you two doing here?" he asked, genuine surprise anchoring him in the present. "We wanted to see you, and Mom thought you might like some company," Emma explained, brushing wet strands of hair from her face. With a smile breaking through his clouds, Daniel ushered them inside. The warmth of their break in the weather enveloped him, lacing through the echoes of uncertainty that had settled in his heart. "Let's dry off and grab some snacks." After they settled in, the living room buzzed with their laughter, a stark contrast to the silence that had cocooned him. Emma and Lucas entertained him with stories, filling the air with light joy that softened the corners of his heart. But when they began to talk about their lives, their triumphs and failures, Daniel felt the familiar tug of vulnerability within him. Each shared story echoed with memories he had tried to forget, the moments of self-discovery and growth shadowed by the pain of loss. He listened attentively, his heart swelling with pride for his children, while a lingering shadow reminded him of his role as their father. "Dad, can we show you something?" Lucas suddenly chimed, his eyes fitting with enthusiasm. "What is it?" Daniel asked, intrigued. Emma exchanged a knowing glance with her brother, and he felt a spark of curiosity ignite. "We worked on a song together. Can we play it for you?" Emma beamed. "Of course," Daniel encouraged, gesturing for them to go ahead. As they took a seat with a small keyboard and Lucas picked up a guitar, the weight of responsibility began to lift, fear fading into recognition of how they supported each other. They started to play, their melodies spilling over one another in earnestness. Daniel couldn't help but find himself lost in the innocent beauty of their creation, the lyrics filled with dreams and uncertainties. "Together we're stronger. We'll weather the storms," Emma sang, a glimmer of hope shining in her voice. As they finished, the room erupted with applause, Lucas and Emma exchanging high fives, their laughter ringing clear. Daniel felt his heart overflow with gratitude at their resilience, but part of him still flickered with doubt. "Am I worthy of this happiness?" "Wow, you two are incredible," he praised, wrapping his arms around their shoulders, pulling them close. "You sound amazing. I'm proud of you." Yet his children sensed something beneath his calm surface. "Dad!" Emma's voice dropped slightly, concern layering each word. "Are you okay? You seem different." Caught off guard, Daniel hesitated. "I'm fine. Just a bit tired, I suppose." But inside, 1,000 thoughts flooded through him, a storm of self-doubt battling the reassurance of their love. They exchanged glances, and before he could redirect the conversation, Lucas spoke candidly. "You can talk to us, Dad. You don't have to hide what you're feeling." The sincerity in their voices broke the dam of his internal conflict, and Daniel felt his chest tighten. The shadows were convincing him to retreat, yet here were his children, offering a lifeline of understanding and connection. "Yeah," Emma encouraged softly. "It's okay to not be okay sometimes." Daniel took a deep breath, feeling vulnerable, yet emboldened. Sometimes I feel like I'm still battling the past, struggling to be the dad you deserve, while finding my way back to who I was." "I thought you conquered all that," Lucas chimed, his youthful voice filled with concern. "Does that mean you're going to leave again?" No, not at all," he rushed to clarify. There are still cracks I need to fill. I want to show you both that I can be whole again. Every day is a day of learning." Emma placed a gentle hand on his. "We're proud of you for being honest." Feeling the warmth of their unwavering support, the freedom bubbled within him, like a melody waiting to escape. Talking with his kids, sharing dreams, fears, and triumphs, was a reminder that boundaries did not need to confine him. They twined together in a dance of unspoken empathy, a synchrony of compassion. "Maybe we can help each other," Daniel suggested. "Let's keep writing music together." "Yeah, let's become a band," Lucas shouted, his enthusiasm contagious. "Absolutely. We can share our stories through our songs," Emma agreed excitedly. That night, their voices rose in the house, laughter mixing with melodies as they created a safe space for thoughts and dreams. The years of healing surged in that living room, each note blossoming with understanding, a sacred connection amidst the shadows. And as the storm outside settled, the crumbling walls in Daniel's heart began to mend slowly. The shadows, while still present, now danced with the light of love and compassion. He was not alone. No longer a solitary figure fighting a silent war. He was surrounded by the unwavering arms of family, ready to embrace whatever storms life may throw their way. In that moment, he stood on the threshold of rediscovery, realizing that within the cracks lay the beauty of vulnerability, connection, and most importantly, love. As summer bloomed into full swing, the warmth of the sun bled through the windows of Daniel's home, casting golden light across the living room where he and his children often gathered. The atmosphere was a joyful cacophony of music and laughter, each day feeling like a new chapter unfolding in the story of their lives. The makeshift band, Daniel, Emma, and Lucas, practiced daily, their melodies intertwining like vines reaching towards the sun. They wrote songs that captured the essence of family, chance, and resilience. With each strum of Daniel's guitar, notes flowed like a stream of consciousness, and the lyrics began to weave a rich tapestry of both struggle and hope. One particularly bright morning, with the windows thrown open to let in the summer breeze, Daniel called out to his children, "Hey, let's take this outside today." Emma and Lucas exchanged excited glances. "Can we build a stage in the yard?" Lucas suggested, his energy sparking ideas like fireworks in his mind. "Great idea, a backyard concert." Emma grinned, her eyes twinkling. They set to work, gathering blankets, cushions, and an old picnic table that transformed into their performance space. The entire yard became their sanctuary, a safe haven filled with promise. Daniel couldn't help but smile as he watched his children create a world of their own, laughter echoing among the trees. Once their stage was set, the trio took their positions under the sun, inviting the vibrant energy of the day to flow through them. Daniel felt a comforting fuse sparking within. The shadows that had once clung to him began to dissipate, merging into the warmth of connection he now cherished. With an improvised audience of chirping birds and rustling leaves, they began to play. Their songs were light with joy and raw with emotion, a blend of laughter captivating and soothing all at once. He watched Emma's fingers dance over the keys of the keyboard, while Lucas strummed energetically on his guitar. The smiles painted across their faces were priceless, a tapestry stitched with threads of joy and healing. As they played, Daniel felt weightless, each chord resonating not just from his fingertips but deep from within his heart. The music anchored him to the ground, yet made his spirit soar into the heavens. He shared stories through their melodies, moments of vulnerability transformed into harmony, struggles turned to beauty. But even in this radiant moment, shadows briefly flickered at the edge of his consciousness. A fleeting thought nagged at him, a whisper of doubt that dared him to question the depth of his transformation. Is this real? Will it last? As he strummed the notes in a gentle lullaby, he paused for a moment, and his children, sensing something in their father's silence, looked up expectantly. "Dad? You okay?" Emma asked, concern shadowing her bright eyes. Daniel exhaled slowly, a smile tracing his lips. "Just taking it all in, kids. You two make me incredibly proud. I can't believe how far we've come together." Lucas chimed in. "Together is what matters, right, Em?" "Absolutely," she nodded vigorously. "And you're not alone anymore, Dad. We're a team. We have each other." The unwavering conviction in their words buoyed him, lifting the shadow that occasionally loomed like a dark cloud overhead. Daniel felt gratitude swell through him. His journey was ongoing, but it was fortified by love and commitment. His children had become his guiding light. As the summer days drifted on, the backyard concerts attracted the interest of neighbors. Their melodies filled the neighborhood with joy, turning quiet afternoons into vibrant gatherings. Friends and families began to join, sharing moments of laughter, connection, and music. Daniel's heart swelled with the realization that each note, each lyric built bridges. His healing was not an isolated journey, but a community transformation. On a warm Saturday evening, they planned their biggest gathering yet, a summer block party. The kitchen buzzed as they prepared simple dishes, friends volunteering to bring their own favorites. Lila arrived with fresh lemonade, her presence a celebrated addition to the festivities. "How about I do a duet with you, Daniel?" she suggested, her eyes sparkling with warmth. Daniel chuckled. "Only if I get to lead the dance afterward." The children bounced with excitement, and as dusk fell, the yard transformed into a festival of light, a sea of stringed bulbs shining under the starry sky. People gathered in the soft glow, their laughter and chatter compounding the sense of belonging enveloping Daniel. As the evening unfolded, the sound of laughter and music weaved through the air like a tapestry. People danced, shared stories, and sang along to the songs emanating from the makeshift stage. Daniel's heart wore open the essence of family, acceptance, and community, a feeling richer than any he had known before. Daniel took the microphone, his voice calm yet resonant. "Thank you all for being here tonight. This means so much to me. I've learned that healing is not just a solitary journey. It's made more beautiful when shared with those we love." He motioned to his children and Lila standing beside him, smiles illuminating their faces. The crowd erupted in applause, and Lucas shouted, "Play what we wrote together." With renewed energy, they dove into a song crafted through their experiences, an anthem of rebirth, connection, and undeniable love. Each note poured effortlessly from their hearts, the words echoing in harmony, binding everyone closer together in that moment. As the last chord resonated, an overwhelming cheer erupted. The vibrations wrapped around Daniel's heart, building a mosaic of love that seemed to fill the night sky. Emotions swelled, their connection blossoming, and for the first time since his journey began, he felt complete. Underneath the stars, surrounded by laughter and love, Daniel understood that even amidst shadows, the light persisted. It shone through the cracks, illuminating paths to be explored and hymns to be sung. His fears did not disappear entirely, but they softened, merging into a melody of acceptance and gratitude. That night marked not just a celebration of music, but the blossoming of Daniel's life, a new existence rooted firmly in connection, family, and hope, as he ventured onward, prepared to embrace whatever beautiful things this newfound life had in store. As the last echoes of music faded into the night, the crowd began to disperse, still buzzing with energy and the warmth of the shared experience. Daniel stood at the edge of the yard, watching friends and neighbors gather their things, laughter lingering like a sweet perfume in the air. Children chased fireflies, their giggles sparkling like the stars above, and in that moment, he felt a wave of contentment wash over him. Lila approached, her hair tousled by the gentle evening breeze. "You did it, Daniel. That was a beautiful night." "It really was," he replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I never imagined we could turn this into a moment like that." "Your music unlocked something in everyone present," she said, her eyes reflecting the fading light. "You shared your journey and showed them the beauty of healing through connection. It was powerful." Daniel nodded, the realization sinking deep within him. The music had become a bridge, connecting him not only to his children and Lila, but also to the entire community. They were threads woven together, a network of shared stories, battles, and triumphs. As the final guests headed home, he felt the cool night air wrap around him, a comforting reminder of the stillness that often follows moments of chaos. He turned to Emma and Lucas, who were both buzzing with excitement. "Did you see everyone? They loved it. We have to do this again," Lucas declared, his enthusiasm infectious. "Definitely. I think we can use this time to write new songs together," Emma added, her mind already whirling with ideas. Daniel felt a profound sense of pride wash over him. His children, once so small, were blossoming into remarkable individuals filled with passion and creativity. They had witnessed his struggles, yet here they stood, fortified by love and understanding, having inherited his musical spirit. "Absolutely. We'll make this a regular thing," Daniel replied, noting the fire and determination reflected in their eyes. "I have a lot to learn from the two of you." As twilight deepened into night, they helped each other clean up the remnants of the gathering, folding blankets, gathering cups, and picking up discarded plates. Their shared laughter filled the cool air. It was simple, yet it felt integral to the fabric of their relationship. Later, as they settled into the living room, Daniel found himself reflecting on the evening. Moments earlier, he had been enveloped in an epiphany. He was no longer wrestling with self-doubt in isolation. He had the support of those he loved dearly, anchoring him firmly in reality. "Can I share something?" Daniel asked, his voice steady. The children turned to him with eagerness, their eyes wide. "Of course, Dad," Emma encouraged. "Tonight was pivotal for me. I used to doubt whether I could step back into the world, whether I could show my true self, scars and all." He paused, letting the emotions coil into his words. "But standing up there and sharing our songs with you beside me made me realize that healing isn't just about confronting the past. It's about moving forward, together." His children nodded, clearly understanding the gravity of what he expressed. Lucas leaned in, hugging his father tightly. "I think you are already whole, Dad. You just needed to see it for yourself." "I agree," Emma chimed in, her voice soft but resolute. "You are everything we need, and that makes you the best dad." Tears pricked at Daniel's eyes as he held them both close. "Thank you for being my strength and my inspiration. I promise to keep learning, to embrace every moment, good or bad." With the beautiful threads of their family woven tighter that night, Daniel began to feel excitement for the future unfurling before him. The music, once a refuge, had transformed into a vehicle for growth and acceptance. They had birthed more than just songs. They had sculpted a safe space to grow and evolve together. As they settled in for the night, Daniel took a moment to gaze out the window, watching the stars twinkle brightly against the vast expanse of night. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of peace wrapping around him like a warm blanket. The journey had shaped him, but it did not define him. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new songs to write, and new moments to share. Grateful for everyone he loved, Daniel knew he had found his voice not just in music, but also in fellowship, acceptance, and open-heartedness. He smiled as he turned back to his children, ready to embrace the bright future ahead. Together they would navigate this world, hand in hand, creating melodies that would resonate for a lifetime, echoing the triumph of healing, love, and the beauty of life.